Okay, let's dive into this explainer. We're currently standing at the edge of a technological shift so massive. Actually, you know what? It literally makes the invention of the internet look like a minor update. When the internet arrived, it connected us. But artificial intelligence? It's fundamentally replacing cognitive work. AI is everywhere now, right? It's writing complex code in seconds. It's drafting dense legal documents. And it's even perfectly mimicking conversational nuance. In a landscape where cold automation is just rapidly taking over routine tasks, there's a massive urgent need to figure out how we stand out before we get completely drowned out. So today, we're going to explore why building a powerful, deeply authentic personal brand is your absolute greatest asset moving forward, and why your messy, beautiful humanity is the one thing algorithms can never, ever replace.
So I want you to ask yourself this right now and be brutally honest. What makes you irreplaceable? As AI gets exponentially smarter, it operates with this ruthless, scalable efficiency, but it completely lacks something vital. It lacks warmth, it lacks genuine empathy, it lacks the human scars and the quiet resilience that only come from lived experiences. If an algorithm can effortlessly replicate your hard skills, then your personal brand, who you are, what you stand for, and the incredibly unique way you connect with others becomes your ultimate, unassailable moat. Here is our roadmap for the explainer today. 1. The AI era dilemma. 2. A history of the brand. 3. Turning pain into power. 4. The unstoppable brand framework. And 5. Your next transformational steps. Let's start with Section 1, the AI era dilemma.
Think about the very real threat of commoditization right now. If your work is routine, AI can and absolutely will do it. But this creates a massive void in the market, a void that only human charisma, vision, and passion can fill. AI automates those routine tasks and generates content at a dizzying scale. But it takes a human to provide deep meaning. We're the ones who scale empathy. We bring authentic humanity to the table. AI makes it incredibly easy to be average, generic, and totally invisible. Your personal brand, though, is your filter. It's how you build rock-solid credibility and foster real relationships that go way beyond mere transactions.
But what happens if you just kind of ignore this? Well, the cost of invisibility is extraordinarily high. You face total commoditization in the job market. Just think about what that actually feels like for a second. Without a brand, you're literally just a replaceable resume in a massive pile. You become completely invisible to opportunities, which means you wake up every single day constantly chasing jobs instead of having incredible offers chase you. You suffer from weak trust and credibility because at the end of the day, people buy from and hire those they know, like, and trust. Ultimately, your income and your impact stagnate. You must intentionally take control of your narrative, or the algorithms will happily do it for you.
Moving right along to Section 2, a history of the brand.
Now you might be thinking, personal branding is some modern social media fad, but the concept is ancient. It's deeply rooted in human history. In antiquity, Socrates famously said, "The way to gain a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear." Fast forward to the 1950s, and sociologist Erving Goffman introduced the fascinating theory of the presentation of self, arguing that life is essentially a theatrical performance where we're constantly managing impressions. Then, in 1997, Tom Peters brought this directly into the business world with his Brand You concept, telling us we are all CEOs of Me, Inc. Today, in the digital age, the tools we use are new, LinkedIn, blogs, podcasts, but the daily practice of curating your reputation, that's as old as civilization itself. It is a strategic career necessity.
Which brings us to Section 3, turning pain into power.
You see, a brand isn't just some abstract theory. It's deeply and sometimes really painfully human. Let's dive into the incredibly moving story of someone who forged an unstoppable brand in the fires of pure adversity, Sohail Ahmed. Sohail's life was certainly not handed to him on a silver platter. Just 5 days before his 12th grade results, a pivotal moment when a boy typically looks to his father for guidance, Sohail lost his father to kidney failure. It was a devastating, earth-shattering loss that thrust him into adulthood overnight. AI can generate beautifully written, grammatically perfect words about grief, sure, but it can never, ever replicate the profound, visceral human scars of a tragedy like this, nor the sheer resilience required to survive it.
Sohail kept pushing forward, but eventually found himself working these grueling, draining hours in call centers during the dawn of the BPO era. Sitting at his desk at 1 a.m., just staring out the window into the dark, he had a crucial, life-altering epiphany. He told himself, "This is not what I wanted to do. I cannot do this job for my whole life." Driven by that massive realization, he took an emotional leap and started a call center training institute. He poured his absolute heart into it. But within 10 months, it completely failed. It wasn't just a financial setback, it was a soul-crushing failure. But rather than giving up and retreating to the call center, he realized he had to separate his raw emotions from his strategy. He had to pivot.
And that pivot, wow, it led to radical authenticity. Around 2012, Sohail figured out his true superpower wasn't just corporate training, it was instilling hope and building self-esteem. He shifted to being a motivational speaker and mindset expert. He launched the Mentor My Way blog, expanding his reach to an astonishing 102 countries. This was the early foundation of what would eventually inspire his transformative platform, the Confidence Compass. But what truly set his brand apart was his vulnerability. While others painted these perfect, filtered pictures of success, Sohail stood on global stages like Josh Talks and openly shared his failures, his relationship challenges, and even his battles with suicidal tendencies. He wore his scars as badges of honor. This unbelievable authenticity caught the attention of Niti Aayog, the Delhi government, and even earned him a certificate signed by former U.S. President Bill Clinton as a judge for the Hult Prize.
It really all boils down to this one core thesis. Technology will do nothing if there is no human spirit behind it. Sohail Ahmed, now recognized as India's leading self-esteem expert, lives and breathes this philosophy every single day. In an AI-driven world that can feel increasingly synthetic, his brand is an unassailable moat precisely because it's built entirely on resilience, empathy, and unapologetic humanity. Let's get practical now. In Section 4, the Unstoppable Brand Framework. We're transitioning from emotional inspiration to actionable instruction. This is a brilliant, synthesized flow. Personal branding starts completely internally by clarifying your purpose and auditing your current reality. That internal clarity, it leads directly into defining your external positioning. From there, you design your proof, build your content system, activate your networks, and finally measure and refine the results. Personal branding isn't just randomly posting thoughts online, it's a highly structured, deeply logical process of making your internal value clearly visible to the rest of the world.
Drawing from that roadmap and Sohail's own proven methodology, here's his 5-step Mentor My Way blueprint. Step 1 is the foundation, high self-esteem. Sohail teaches that this is completely non-negotiable, because honestly, if you don't deeply believe in your own value, why on earth should an audience? Step 2 is positioning, finding that hyper-specific, extra-mile niche where you become the absolute go-to authority. Step 3 is proof. You can't just talk the talk, you need tangible assets like a book, a top-tier podcast, or documented case studies. Step 4 is presence, which is your daily content strategy. And Step 5 is pivot and partnerships, intentionally aligning yourself with giants, just like Sohail did with Niti Aayog, to validate your expertise on a global scale.
To really power that daily presence, you need the 3E content strategy. In the digital age, consistency is basically the currency of trust. Your content should essentially do 3 things. First, educate. Share your specific frameworks and how-tos. Second, entertain with vulnerability. What does that actually look like? Imagine a highly successful CEO posting not about a massive win, but doing a post-mortem on a product launch that failed spectacularly and what they learned. That is entertaining vulnerability. And third, encourage, instill hope. Be the voice that motivates people to keep going. This 3E strategy forms an unbeatable content engine that AI simply cannot replicate with any true emotional resonance.
And that leads us to our final part, Section 5, your next transformational steps. Look, navigating this AI landscape and building your brand from scratch can feel incredibly daunting. But the good news is you absolutely do not have to do this alone. I want to introduce you to the ultimate solution. You can learn directly from a mentor whose human-centered philosophy is exactly what the market is begging for right now. Sohail Ahmed is a 2-time LinkedIn top voice for 2024 and 2025, the founder of Mentor My Way, Inc., and formally recognized as the best institutional training provider. His daily mission is literally to make humans more humane. If you want to build a brand that AI cannot touch, his blueprint is absolutely the one to follow.
So here's what you need to do right now, not tomorrow, right now, to profoundly transform your life and your career. First, jump onto LinkedIn and subscribe to the Confidence Compass newsletter. This isn't just another email clogging your inbox, it's a life-transforming community packed with continuous, actionable content on self-esteem, leadership, and personal growth. Second, follow him at the handle @MentorSohail, @MentorSohail across all social platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, the whole shebang.
And third, if you want to bring this immense catalytic value to your organization, invite Sohail Ahmed to speak at your next corporate event. His sheer energy and actionable frameworks will completely shift the mindset of your entire team.
I want to leave you with this final thought. Give to the world the best you have, and the best will come back to you. In an era driven by artificial intelligence, your authentic, messy, resilient, wildly unique humanity is the absolute best thing you have. So ask yourself right now, what is the one human story or that one painful failure you've been hiding that could actually become your greatest unassailable asset? Start building your unstoppable brand today, draw motivation from Sohail's journey, connect with him, and let the world see exactly what makes you irreplaceable. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.